Welcome to Get Fact.
Hello, and welcome to the show.
Hello again.
What episode's this?
Oh, you've put me on the spot. I think it's maybe 14, is it?
14.
13, 14, one of them.
It's not
I
bad.
think it's 14, is it?
Good going, that.
It's not bad. Well, like I was saying to Dan, you have to get past 27 episodes to be able to stick to it. That's what the podcast rule is, apparently.
Okay.
So, if we don't get to 27, we're poo. I'll start with emails that we got.
Oh, yeah.
We got a few new emails coming in.
Ooh.
Ashley Henry also replied. I can confirm that Ashley is a male.
So I was right.
He was right, yeah. He was right to assume the genders.
I was right to assume.
Yeah, and he basically said, great episode. They laughed at that bit where I said that I molested 11 animals because of Dan. Tricked me. I can confirm I didn't molest 11 animals. That wasn't me. Honestly. Yeah, he wanted to ask a question for our next guest, but unfortunately, Hannah, we don't know what happened to her. She just vanished, and we couldn't get in contact with her. So we ended up getting a new guest who happily stepped in last minute, which was good of her. But she's a marine mammals biologist, so she won't actually know the answer to cuttlefish are both male and female. Is that true? So we'll have to wait till we actually get a marine biologist on for that question. So sorry about that, Ashley. We'll wait till the next marine biologist. Also, you made me do some homework, Ashley, didn't you? Saying that your boss has got new racking up at work, and he's saying it's top of the line stuff. It's earthquake proof, and they made these structures out of wood with no nails like they did in China. And he said it's a load of waffle. Well, I did a bit of research.
In China?
Yeah.
Like wood or bamboo?
Wood.
Oh.
And it turned out to be true, unfortunately, Ashley. So your boss is right. He knows his stuff. In China, they made buildings to last against earthquakes simply by just slotting wood in together with no nails or glue.
Well, there's a few structures over in China, isn't there, around that way that have stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Through earthquakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's
like little sort of temple things.
Yeah, that's one of the buildings that's made like that. I searched the pictures, and everything around it was destroyed by the earthquake, apart from this one building.
Yeah,
that was just...
I think it's designed to, the way the wood's slotted together is designed to take the impact of, and that was from centuries ago.
Yeah. Japan also did the same. They had the same type of structure, so one of them copied each other. I don't know who it was. He was the founder of it. But either way, I wouldn't like to play them against on Jenga. We've also had an email off Jamie Smith. I'll read the email out because it's easier.
Jamie.
He said, "Good evening, faculteers." And I am officially robbing that word, faculteers. That's the new name for our listeners, faculteers.
With the two faculteers.
Yep, the free faculteers.
Well, will be when Dan
comes back. Will be soon, yeah. Good evening, faculteers. My name is Jamie. My nickname is El Pud, as I am from Yorkshire. I identify as male, but on a weekend, I identify as a two-spirit chocolate bar.
Nice.
I love the podcast. Been listening since the very first episode when it was called Twat Chat. Keep up the amazing work. My trick is I can shoot peas out of my nose, as I was born with the cleft lip and palate. Is that how you say it? Palate. Oh yeah. I can't read. And have a hole at the top of my mouth. So I replied and give him his own superhero name as Captain P-Man. So from now on, If you want to send emails in with your special abilities, what you can do, me and Stu will give you a superhero name.
It's a good idea, that, actually. Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So we've got Captain P-Man emailing in.
I'm trying to think what my special ability could be.
Yeah, what is your special ability? What can you do?
The ukulele.
Unusual. Ukulele man. What power is it? I mean,
Captain Ukulele.
I mean, Jamie's shooting peas. What's your power? Do you make him go to sleep or something?
No, I shoot music notes.
Music notes. And it makes them dance.
It makes them dance, and everybody's happy.
Just stuck on the spot dancing,
and everybody's happy.
Yeah, sounds good. I don't know.
It's always
what my
happy ending
ability
when
is.
Stu comes.
Yeah, trying to think what my ability would be. Don't have a clue, but I'm just thinking. You know, we play that Don't Be Stupid.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can get guests on to play it.
I suggested that, didn't I?
Did you?
Yeah.
Not the guests, sorry. I mean.
Oh, you mean the people who are listeners?
Yeah, the listeners. That's all.
That'd be a good idea. Get them on and phone them up and
little
do
5 minute
Don't Be Stupid.
Game of Don't Be Stupid. Seeing how well they do. We'll make a separate leaderboard.
Yeah. That'd be good, though.
Yeah, get the listeners involved.
Get them to email in with the number and we'll give them a ring.
Well, they don't even need to do that. I can just email them Google Meets.
Oh, yeah, we do it that way.
Might be easier. Yeah.
Good idea, that's it.
Yeah, we'll try that next time, not today. It's a bit last minute, that, so. I also want to apologise for last week's episode, which sounded like it was in the Amazon rainforest. Because it's just full of birds all the way through. I forgot to shut the window.
You shouldn't have said it. We could have made it. Yeah. We went to the Amazon, and that's where we recorded our podcast from.
Yeah, we were just in a tree.
Honest.
But yeah, I've got a massive tree in the backyard, and it's just full of birds. So they just live there.
Yeah, but it's nice over the morning though when you.
It is nice.
What kind of birds are they? Them
all
noisy
sorts.
ones, or
all sorts of them.
all I get around ours is pigeons and magpies.
It's like its own zoo in backyard.
Oh, have you heard magpies over the morning?
Aye.
Oh, they're the noisiest things ever.
They're the clever ones, aren't they?
Yeah, they're clever, but they're dead noisy.
Right.
So this loud sort of cackling sound.
Is that what I'm thinking of though? A magpie, where they do them sticks? And
All the crows. They say crows do.
Was it crows?
Yeah,
Not
but magpies are from the same family.
Ah, magpies are the ones just saluting it.
Yeah.
One's bad luck or something.
One
like
for
that.
sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for girl, 4 for boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for the secret never to be told.
I can't believe you remember all that. That is long.
But yeah, Mrs. She salutes one every time we go past.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, today we was meant to be having Hannah on, but we lost her. So we've got Kristyn. Is that right? Kristyn Plancarte? Kristyn Plancarte. I always mess names up. I should have just like
just
a little.
leave that bit to me.
A little, yeah, I should do. I should have a little clip of me trying to pronounce names. I'm just not good at it. I don't know what it is. I just read it how it looks on paper.
You struggle with mine.
Stuart.
Oh, I hate that when you speak to an American or someone like that. It's always Stuart.
Yeah, Stuart. Is that what you are?
I'm Stuart.
I'm Stefan.
Stuart.
I'm Stefan, like I've got a name in him.
I'm just Stuart.
Yeah, I'm Stu.
Stu. But even that, they go Stu.
Yeah.
Stew. Like as if it sounds like it's got a J in it.
Yeah.
Stew.
Well, anyway, I must say, our new guest is a marine mammals biologist, which is like big whales and that.
Whales, walruses, dolphins.
I'll find out more about that when she's on, because I'm not sure how many water-based animals are mammals. I don't know.
There's quite a lot, apparently.
Yeah. In my head, it was only whales. But yeah, she's also a zookeeper, so
Yes.
even more interesting.
I'm going to ask her which zoo, actually.
Which zoo?
I don't think it'll be Chester Zoo, will it?
Not at all. She's 8 hours away. That's it. She's 8 hours behind us.
Knowsley Safari
She's in the
Park.
Pacific.
Knowsley Safari Park.
Yeah, Knowsley. These 5 animals over so I can see them. But anyway, based on a zookeeper coming on, I'm going to play a game we used to. What? So we've got a zoo each,
What's
right?
this one? Don't be zoopid.
Zoo. Yeah. So basically, we've got. You remember in school when you used to have a football team and you was kids and you had to pick players? Like, I bet you. And then
I was always the last one.
Yeah. Well, this is what we're playing, but with zoo animals. We've got a zoo each. We get to pick one animal at a time.
All right.
You get to start. So, what animal are you having in your zoo? We can have 5 animals each, I think.
5?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you only get one first, and then I pick.
Yeah.
And you pick, yeah.
Rhino.
You're in a rhino?
Yeah.
I'm going gorilla.
Elephant.
Oh, I wanted the elephant. Lion.
Tiger.
Dolphin show.
Bears. Oh my.
Oh my. So what else is that? I'd pick giraffe because it's a zoo thing, but it's quite boring. They've only got big long tongues.
How many is that I've done now?
Don't know, but you've got birds, that's cool.
Yeah,
I've got a gorilla.
It's 3.
I've got dolphins. I've got lion. Are we just having one of each? Well, dolphins, they're a pack, aren't they? So you laid a pack. So like if you get a wolf, you like wolves.
Right.
But a gorilla, you've just got one. I've got one gorilla. One lion.
I've got 1 bear.
Yeah, one.
1 rhino. 1
I've got
elephant.
a dolphin pack. What my 4th? What else is there? See, I've already got gorillas, so I don't want monkeys, even though they are cool. I'll have a wolf pack.
A wolf pack.
Yeah.
I'm going for a cheetah.
A cheetah. Ooh. So you got the lion type thing. You've not got a monkey yet. Not like monkeys. Chimps and that. I'm trying to think what other zoo animals are like. Shock me, like, wow, that's cool. You've got the big ones, don't you? Like rhino, elephants, and that.
I have to get them.
The showstoppers.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh no. I was gonna go for a pack of kangaroos because I seen them and it was cool. But yeah, go on, I'll have kangaroos.
The kangaroo.
Yeah.
I'm going for the South American condor.
How many have you got? I'm sure you started.
5. That's 5.
How many have I got now? Is that my
You should
4th?
have 5.
How does that work?
Well, count some of what you've got. I've got rhino, elephant,
But how's it
bird.
started on you and finished on you?
I don't know. I've got rhino, elephant, bear,
Yeah.
cheetah, and a condor.
Yeah, I've got a gorilla, dolphin show, a lion, a kangaroo pack,
And wolves.
and wolves.
There you go.
How does that work out? How did you go first and last and still end up with 5?
Sounds just cool.
You've definitely
You
forgot
must have
one.
jumped ahead by 1 or something.
Oh, I went greedy.
Well, you were getting greedy with your pack animals.
I know, yeah, we packed animals, yeah. So yeah, email in. Let us know whose zoo's best. Which zoo would you visit? Also, email in with your superpower, and we'll give you a superhero name. It could be anything. It could be like turning your eyelids inside out. Anything like that, weird things. My mate could do that growing up. He could like flick his eye.
I had a friend who used to just pull his eyelids, turn them inside out, and
you just see
around.
the white bit of the eye.
Yeah.
It was weird, wasn't it? And then your ears as well. People could turn your ears in.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is there that was weird? Double jointed's quite weird, isn't it? Flexible man.
Yeah, they're flexible.
Yeah.
We had a lad who used to, when he was in school, used to put his legs behind his head. Because he used to sit behind the teacher where her desk was. So he used to sit with his legs behind his head when the teacher was reading a story.
I'm pretty plain, me. I can't think of anything weird that I can do. Like
Well, I can't do anything weird, I don't think. I used to be able to roll my belly.
Oh no, you go like that doesn't count.
Well,
You used to be able to
belly.
do what?
You be able to roll my belly.
Oh, I used to be able to do that.
I can't do it now. Tried.
I can. I was just bigger belly.
Just
But like a tidal wave now.
yeah. It looks like a walrus flossing.
Yeah. Speaking about walruses, I'm sure Kristyn's got walruses.
She has.
Brilliant.
Can't remember what this name is.
Well, that's what. I've got the ability to grow a beard. I'm like the Rapunzel. But I can just grow a beard instead.
Steve, let down your long beard.
Yeah. It hurts. Pulling my chin off.
I can't grow a beard. I'd love to have. If I could, I'd love to have mutton chops.
Oh yeah, I'd love to have like one of them massive tashes. You know, like a proper sticks out. It's like handlebars, is it called?
With the curl on the end.
Yeah, with curl. I'd enter competitions and everything. I'd love it. That'd be brilliant.
I'd love to have big, thick sideburns, big mutton chops.
Big mutton chops. I'm stuck.
Just pull the table out.
I know, yeah.
Over then.
I got stuck under the table then.
Have you got any facts?
Have I got any facts? Well, I should hope so. We can't get facts. No, but we've got ChatGPT news coming up in a bit. Again. I don't think we'll play Don't Be Stupid today. We'll give it a rest.
I'm not prepared for that one.
It hurts me head. But yeah, we've got Factor Reset coming up. Have I got any facts set up for you? I haven't, but I've got a few notes.
I've got some historical facts.
Historical facts?
Yeah.
Go on, hit me.
Well, in the 16th century, wealthy Europeans would often consume mummies as medicine, believing they had healing powers.
Mummies as what?
As medicine, believing that they had healing powers.
What, did he blend them?
I've no idea.
There you go. Drink that.
What was this? Your mum. In the 16th century, it was believed that smoking a dead man's skull could cure a headache.
Sounds about right. I'll try it.
It probably would work now, actually.
A dead man's skull?
Yeah. How do you smoke his skull?
I don't know.
Is that like...
Are you grinding it down? Or?
That's what I mean. Are you grinding it down and smoking the powder residue, or are you actually getting the skull and using it as a bong?
Using it as a bong? How creepy would the bong that be? Someone's skull. That'd be horrible.
It's Cypress Hill would be in there, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Well, have you seen that?
Insane in the membrane, eh?
Yeah. Have you seen that what serial killers used to do, where they used to boil heads when they cut them off?
Yeah.
To make them shrink?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's
some
bizarre rituals.
Make it connected to a little body and make a bobblehead, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And then put it on your dashboard, all your victims. That's horrible.
In 1838, the governor of Maine declared war on Great Britain after a dispute over the boundary between the United States and Canada.
I wonder what's happening with them. United States and Canada, like, was they ever one country?
Oh, I don't know, because...
Are they connected, like?
Well, they are connected because they're classed as North America.
Right. So it is America.
Well,
in a way.
Well, it's the Americas, because
Yeah.
you've got Central and South.
Yeah. But we said that with us, couldn't we? Like, Ireland, Scotland, United Kingdom. Nice part of United England,
Scotland,
Wales.
Yeah.
It's like, they're attached, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is Ireland attached?
Ireland's attached to the Republic of Ireland.
Right.
But they're not attached to us.
Right, I know nothing of geography, me. I'm rubbish at all that stuff. But is it Wales or something that's like slowly detaching from England?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like one of them is. One of them's detaching from us. I can't remember who. They're trying to escape. So long, suckers!
I don't blame them.
They're going joining Brexit.
The first recorded vending machine was built in ancient Greece and dispensed holy water. I'm going to Greece.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
I'm going to see if I can go find that machine.
It dispenses holy water.
It dispensed holy water.
Right, and do you drink that? Oh,
Do you drink holy water?
I don't know.
That's to bless your soul.
I mean, that is washing out your spirits, isn't it?
that is.
Your demons.
Yeah. Cleansing.
I suppose.
I don't know. Do you drink holy water?
I don't
You're
know.
allowed to, or holy water is just water.
Yeah,
That's
there's.
been blessed by the Pope. In the 1800s,
Yep.
there were public schools in the United States that were segregated by hair colour.
Yeah. That's weird, isn't it?
That's bizarre, that.
Hair colour. I think the weirdest thing. Hair
Hair
colour thing
racism.
It is. But there's in St Helens, there's a bus called the Strawberry Bus, and you can get on it for free if you're ginger.
Wow.
It's an anti-bullying bus. Imagine a bus going past full of gingers. That bus is going to get bullied.
My daughter's boyfriend's ginger.
My beard's ginger. I think I'd pass. I'd get on that for free. I don't know what the plan was though. Like that was never going to work, was it?
No. Did it actually happen though? Yeah.
Yeah, a strawberry bus in Centre.
It's still going. Still going.
Yeah, it's like a normal bus. You can get on it if you can pay. If you're not
as a normal bus.
If you're a normal herd person.
But if you're ginger, you can get on
if
for
you're
free.
ginger, it's free. Yeah.
Wow. What a damn year.
That is almost Hearst, isn't it?
Hearst.
Yeah.
But what if you dyed your hair red?
Ooh, I don't know.
Or like, was it copper?
50% off.
Yeah.
Instead of free. Because you're fake ginger, so I'll let you on for 50% off. You got one more before we have to give it a pause before our guest comes on?
During the 18th century, there was a craze for medical smoking. People would smoke dried herbs and plants to cure various ailments. We still do that now, don't we?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Smoke the herb.
Smoke the herb, yeah, to fix things. Yeah. That's always happened. Alright, so we'll pause this. We'll come back on in a minute with our guest, and then we'll have a bit more chat after our guest has gone off as well. So yeah, see you in a moment. Hello.
Hello.
So let me introduce our guest. If I can get your name right, I'm no good at names.
That's okay. That's okay.
So I guess today
it's
is
Kristyn. Yeah, Plancarte.
Kristyn
I'll save you the
Plancarte.
trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're good.
Good, yeah.
Can't thank you enough for coming on, like literally last minute.
It just so happened that I had today off, and I was like, "Well, I'm not doing anything at 9 in the morning, so sounds fine."
Yeah, we got lucky.
Can I get your guys' names too?
Yeah, I'm Stephen.
And I'm Stuart.
Okay, Stephen and Stuart. Got it.
Yep. So we'll get straight to it. So what is it that you do?
I feel like I do a lot of things, but right now I'm my actual title is staff biologist at Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium, but I'm a zookeeper. I look after a variety of marine mammals, walruses, sea otters, sea lions, puffins, penguins, a lot of different creatures. But yeah, I mean, marine biologist, kind of another term that I'll use for myself and what I do. I've worked with a lot of whales and dolphins in the past as well, and research projects and things like that. And I'm also pretty prevalent on social media, have a YouTube channel and some things like that, just kind of talking about nature and the ocean and things we can do to help it.
Yeah, it was. I was watching some of your YouTube videos yesterday, and the one that stood out to me was the dog thing, because where you debunked the dog button one.
Yeah, did you dive into the comment section of that video?
I didn't, but I thought you're gonna definitely get some Karens on that.
Yeah, it didn't go over well. I didn't really expect. I didn't really expect it to be, because I do a lot of training. So I'm another word is like an animal behaviorist. So I work a lot with positive reinforcement and training. And these videos, these dogs having full conversations with these buttons just drive me nuts. And so I made a video about it, and a lot of people agreed, but the people who didn't are very mad about it.
I can imagine. But when I watched them videos myself, I was thinking, there's no way that dog can know what it's doing. Because I've got a dog myself, and at times I've heard my dog fart and scare itself. So there's no chance. Yeah,
no, I mean, it's like the dogs are doing something. What they're doing is exactly what the owners want, is they're pushing buttons and they're getting attention for it. So the dogs have learned, and it's really the humans that are the silly ones in this case, that are buying into that the dog is saying, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe some of the things that people will bring up to me, like, oh well, I saw one where they said the husband was upstairs pooping. How do you explain that? And I'm like, I don't feel like I should have to explain this. Like, I I can't put this into words. So yeah, that was a tough one. And that video still gets views like it's all the videos that you never, I'm like, I never want to talk to a dog buttons person again, but that video just gets views and views and views. And
I'm going to have to watch that one because I've not seen that one.
It is a good one, but it's like simple tricks like shake a paw. The dog's shaking a paw because it knows it gets a treat. It's the same in regards to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said in the video, I tried to be, well, the problem was that I was a little condescending in the video, which people didn't take too kindly to, and I was really just trying to be funny, and it didn't come across right. But the thing is that you could do something very simple, like a button for like right by the door, meaning I need to go outside to use the bathroom, is something that a dog could do. But stringing together words and adjectives, and it's not a thing. It's just not a thing.
Like you said, there was ignoring certain words that the dog pressed by accident. Like you can't.
And they're like, "Well, that was clearly an accident," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? You're just making this up. It's made up."
So the whole sentence could be an accident then.
Exactly. No, it's they completely, and also there's any number of buttons that you could reach the same. One of the examples they bring up is apparently one time the dog said paw, ouch, 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 paw or something, and it had like a thorn in its paw. Apparently, these are edited YouTube videos, so I don't know why people think it's evidence. But I'm like, you could have, if the dog had pushed outside, help, please. It doesn't matter what combination of buttons, like, and you found a thorn in their paw, you would assume that they knew what they were talking about because you have a confirmation bias. But anyway, it was not. I did not realize there's a little bit of a cult like following. And they came for me.
Yeah. Because you've debunked a few things, haven't you?
I did.
I saw the Jurassic World one. Where wasn't there? There was a post. Is it the New York Post?
That one about how SeaWorld was breeding hybrid like killer orcas or something ridiculous that John Hargrove said, and I said how silly that was and stuff like that. And anytime I do something like highly controversial, I talked a bit about the right whales. The northern right whales are really extremely endangered, and their biggest issue right now is entanglement from fishing gear, and the lobster fishermen did not appreciate my video on that. So there's always, and YouTube is a very fickle place, and I find that the comments tend to be pretty volatile on YouTube, more so than other platforms, which is really sort of interesting. But it doesn't bother me. I have a really thick skin, so.
See, I'm the opposite. Like I hate people not liking me. I've been messaging every Karen like, I'm sorry, hey, can I fix it?
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's not me.
So, in regards to you being a marine mammal specialist, what is regarded as a mammal? What makes them a mammal?
So mammals, there's a few different characteristics of mammals, one of which is that they have hair at one point in their lives. And that sounds like a weird like specification to make, but when you think of animals like dolphins, you obviously don't think of them as having hair, but they did in utero, and sometimes when they're born, they actually have like little mustaches. True story, and you can look it up. It's really cute.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's why I make that specification as, at one point in their lives they did have hair. Mammary glands, nursing their young. There's obviously like a few exceptions to some of these rules that we have for those types of things, but basically those are some of like the minimum qualifications for what makes an animal a mammal.
Right.
So
I had it in my head that all mammals like gave birth like humans, but
I mean that is they. So yes and no. Yeah. Like I feel like it's all things in science is like yes and no.
Right.
But I mean animals like I'm trying to think of an example. Basically the better analogy is that they secrete milk from their mammary glands to nurse their offspring, because there are some animals who sort of differ on that route, and there are some animals, like there's some snakes that give live birth. There's some lizards that give live birth and actually have like maternal care and stuff like that. So it's just, that's why it's not like the perfect analogy. But that basically, I mean, that's a pretty safe bet. So you would be pretty safe to assume that.
Yeah.
So as a marine mammal biologist, where have you been in the world to study mammals?
Yeah, so out of university, and I actually just went for like I have a zoology degree and a biological science degree, and then I did an internship with beluga whales and sea otters at the Vancouver Aquarium.
Okay.
Right.
And that's sort of where I started this whole thing. So I worked up there for a period of time, and then I actually, I'm originally from Colorado. I moved back home. I worked at the Denver Zoo for a while. I was actually working with more like land animals and some birds there, and then moved back to Vancouver, and I worked there for about 11 years and had a lot of experience with their beluga whales. We had Pacific white-sided dolphins, a false killer whale, which is super cool, walruses, stellar sea lions. Their stellar sea lion research program up there was just bar none for what we were doing. Like, these were open water animals, and basically almost everything that we know about stellar sea lions probably came from this program. And then walruses as well. We did a lot of really interesting and groundbreaking research with them up there. Beluga whales and their metabolic research was really big up there as well as vocalizations. The beluga whales at the Vancouver Aquarium were part of a research project that basically confirmed that whales do this thing called a contact call, or beluga whales at least, where they essentially kind of have names for each other. Is sort of the really sort of simplified version of it. But a mother will have a very specific call for her calf, and the calf has a very specific call for the mother, which is really, really interesting stuff that can be used to help protect that species, which is really the entire point, of doing these types of things. And then I moved to Connecticut. I worked at the Mystic Aquarium, again with beluga whales, for a while as a senior trainer there. And now I'm back on the West Coast, and here in Tacoma, Washington, working at Point Defiance again with walruses, which are actually the same walruses that I worked with in Vancouver. So
nice,
it's kind of fun. Full circle little moment there.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite mammal?
It's the walruses. Yeah.
Walruses. So, what makes a walrus so special?
I never really I was always a cetacean girl, so whale, dolphin, porpoises, like those guys were always my favorite to work with. And then one day at Vancouver, they were like, "Hey, listen, we're getting walruses and we need you to be on the team." I had seen a walrus before, so they were like, "That makes you qualified." And so I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not really like super keen on this." But all right. And the first day they arrived, I was like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest animal that's ever existed." So I fell in love with them, and they've remained my favorite animal ever since. But I also have a very, very soft spot for sea otters. I've raised a lot of sea otter pups and things like that. And so sea otters have a special place with me as well.
Right. So what's some facts about walruses? Because I believe you know a lot about walrus. And some interesting facts I heard.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing, like when we were chatting over email about coming on here, and as like marine biologists, like a lot of times people just assume that we know a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
And I actually know like very little about most of the ocean, but I know an awful lot. I know an awful lot about walruses. So I think it's one of those things, and I know some marine biologists who know everything you'd ever want to know about kelp. And little to nothing about whales and dolphins and stuff. But yeah, walruses are, there's just nothing in the world like a walrus, in my opinion. They are they're part of a family that includes like sea lions and seals, but they're just so different on so many levels. So obviously they've got those big tusks that you see, which are basically modified teeth. And contrary to popular belief, they don't really use them for fighting all that much. They actually use them to haul out of the water. So they have to pull their huge bodies out of the water because they're massive. The males can get to be like 5,000 pounds, so like 2,000, some odd kilos. And so they can crack and break those tusks. So you'll often see that happening out in the ocean. These guys also have facial expressions. I think that's part of why I love them so much. They have a muscular face, similar to the way that humans do. So they use their face to basically, they are suction feeders. So they'll suck the clam out of shells and mussels and things like that. And so because of that, their faces are like ours. They can, you never have to infer that a walrus is either having a good time or is angry, because they have angry faces. Like they can make grumpy faces. And that's what I love about them. They're very, very expressive in that way. And I mean, I guess, how much time do you have? Because I can talk about walruses all day long.
So can they use their faces to communicate to each other than noise? Can they communicate with the faces as well?
Well, and noise is a big thing. Like they actually do make so many vocalizations that that other animals can't make. Other animals are grunting and stuff like that, and these guys they can whistle.
Yes, I've seen the video.
Yes, so they just have a wide range of vocalizations. But yeah, I mean, I think that animals, and this is everything circles back to dog buttons, at the end of the day. But I think that animals are always using body language to communicate, and the thing is just learning to see that. They're much better at seeing those types of things, I think, because they're very used to communicating in that way. And as humans, we rely a lot on on hearing and on language and things like that. But they can definitely see each other's faces. I don't know about facial recognition. That's kind of usually considered like a primate type of thing, but that'd be an interesting research project. But yeah, body language, posturing, like all of those things are huge in animal communication. I think even more so than the actual like herd language or sounds that they're making.
Have you ever been to a wild walrus colony to visit?
I haven't, and I would love to. It's a bucket list thing for sure. But it's one of the things that is like you can't just go. It's because they are. So despite their size, they're actually a very skittish species. They're a very just like. They're just like little scaredy cats, even though they're so enormous. And so one thing that is a problem for them is actually stampedes, because the males are so huge. If they run over a calf that's only 100 pounds and they weigh 5,000 pounds, then that's just the end for the calf, right? So causing these stampedes is a big concern. So anytime you get to see these animals in what's called a rookery, I think either have to have like special permitting with a scientific team to go, or you're just doing it illegally, which is not great, or keeping like a very, very large distance. But it's definitely on a bucket list of things that I would really like to see one day.
Cool.
So
probably see, not smell, because I have a feeling that the smell of these places
I bet it could be quite noisy as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
So can walrus? Can they balance balls? Is it like seals that do?
Well, we don't really. I've worked with a bunch of sea lions and we've never balanced balls.
Right.
I think just because, like, there is, obviously I work with animals under human care, and I'm a big, pro what zoos and aquariums can do for conservation and for research.
Yeah.
But I also think we have to get away from the stereotypic, ball balancing for no reason other than that it's funny. So we don't really do that too much, but I think a walrus would be way better at this than a sea lion. I know I'm just probably, everybody's like, why is this lady so with the walruses? But because what they would probably just do is just suck onto the ball and just hold it up.
Just ate smarter.
So it would never leave. You would never be able to knock it down.
Yeah.
So what are on a walrus then? What are the whiskers? What do they feel like, and what are they used for?
Yeah, so in walruses and sea lions and seals and all those animals, we actually, the real scientific name is vibrissae, and that kind of gives a clue as to what they do. They're used to sense vibrations. Right. So they are very sensitive. And on a walrus, they have between 500 and 700 of them on their face. They feel a bit like, like the hard uncooked pasta from the package.
Oh yeah.
That's a little bit what they feel like. But they each have a blood supply, and they each have a nerve ending. So basically what they'll do is they'll kind of stick their faces down in the sand, and they can actually sense the vibrations from things like clams that are filtering sand and filter feeding down there, and they can find the clams that way just through the minute vibrations in the sand, and they suck them in, and they can use them a little bit to kind of manipulate food as well. So you'll see them kind of moving their face around like this and moving things towards their mouth. But they're a really, really interesting. It's basically like having a hand on your face. It's how they experience the world.
Yeah. They'd be good at drinking McDonald's and one week and that milkshake up the straw.
So whales, how they make a very loud noise when they communicate. Like, you can hear it for miles, can't you, underwater?
Yeah, depending on the species. Like some whales, especially like the baleen whales, so those humpback whales, those big filter feeding whales, are using those calls to communicate across long distances or try to find mates. Usually is kind of what nature is all about in every aspect.
Right. So do you know, in the future, do you think we'll ever be able to decode that and understand whales, kind of like in Avatar?
Well, it's funny because in some ways that type of research is already being conducted. Like I was kind of saying, there is evidence to support that there are these contact calls, which while I don't think that the animals necessarily think of them as names, that's essentially what we can sort of conflate that to. And there's also research that suggests that different killer whales, there's lots of different, what will probably very soon be classified as different species of killer whale, but there's different groupings of killer whales, and they've been shown to have what is essentially different dialects. This has happened in dolphins as well, that are the same species living off the UK versus living off of the coast of Florida, are shown to have different sort of dialects, different accents. They've got the British accent. Dolphins up in the UK are different than the ones down in Florida, and their communication is just slightly different. So I think that, I don't know, it's hard to imagine that we'll ever be able to necessarily speak their language. But there's a level of understanding and sort of bringing that together that I think is really, really neat, that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Cool. When you see other biologists talking about their craft, do you ever disagree with anything that they say? Do you ever find, I don't think that's right?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's lots of disagreements in every scientific field, and that's actually part of what makes it work, right? We shouldn't all agree on everything. and there also should be room for you to accept new evidence as it comes forward and change your mind. And that's something that I don't know that everybody is really great at, but I wish that we were all, as a human species, good at it. I think that it would make the world a much better place if we were all, constantly gathering evidence and changing our mind and not being weird about it. Like, it's okay to be wrong. That's, part of the human experience. So yeah, I mean, especially in the scientific community, I think that's a really big thing to have. One of the biggest examples right now coming forward is wind farms, without trying to get like too controversial on like a fun podcast. But there's a big divide in the scientific community about whether or not offshore wind farming is detrimental to marine life or not. So there's and it's very new. So there's all kinds of new evidence that's constantly coming in, and people are pretty heated about it. Like, if you dive into those little, Reddit threads, you're gonna find some arguments.
Right. Is there any worry about global warming in marine life?
Oh,
Would
yeah.
that affect?
Huge issue, especially when you start to talk about. So obviously, a lot of the animals that I've talked about that are that I work really closely with are primarily Arctic species, or at least northern hemisphere, not tropical species. So anything that is living towards the poles is exponentially more impacted by the warming of the earth. And so the lack of sea ice, for instance, is a huge problem in walruses. Normally they will haul out on the ice floes, but now they're having to haul out on land, which is actually why they're having these stampeding issues, like we sort of chatted about earlier. And then the sea ice is the home to sea ice algae. It's the only place sea ice algae grows, right underneath the sea ice. And sea ice algae sort of feeds the food chain in the Arctic. So that's like your very base layer. So as you lose that, you exponentially lose everything that feeds on the sea ice algae, and then you lose all those bigger animals, and then the bigger animals into that. And so that's becoming a huge issue. I would like to think, of course, there's always outliers, but as in general, there is so much overwhelming evidence to support man-made climate change that most people in the scientific community are in agreement on what's happening there. Of course, you've always got, one or two here or there, but there's the vast majority of people are pretty clear on that one. But yeah, it's a big problem. And then it leads to things like ocean acidification, which is just a pH issue, which we don't really think of that much, but the slightest change in pH can just spell disaster for coral reefs and things like that. So the ocean is struggling with global climate change in a very real way, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think I probably already know the answer to this, but if you could be a mammal, what would you be?
I don't think I would be a walrus. I love walruses, but I don't, like we discussed, those stinky call-out. That's not for me. I'm an introvert by heart, so them hauling out in thousands of numbers just does not appeal to me. If I could be a marine animal, I think I would probably be some type of like social whale or dolphin, like like a killer whale, or like some type of maybe not a killer whale, because they're actually struggling a lot as well in the ocean. It's tough to survive right now, but and that's sometimes I'll even, like, when I think about it, I'm like, maybe I would want to be a sea otter, but one that lives in a zoo where you're just like provided with all you can eat restaurant quality shellfish all day, and just naps in the sun. That sounds pretty awesome. But I think some kind of like social predator, like a killer whale, or like some kind of dolphin would be really interesting. I think just being able to echolocate, like, what's that like? Like, what does that feel like? I think that's I think that would be really neat to experience.
So as you said there, like, getting fed in a zoo, So would you say that some mammals would benefit from captivity than being in the wild?
So that I would never put that on like a species level.
Yeah.
But I do think there are individual animals, just like us, they do have personalities and they each have different things that they are good at. Some animals are really, really, really good at specific things, and some animals are not, and some animals need to learn in a different way and stuff like that. So everybody has different personalities. I think that there are different challenges than there are out in the ocean. So I don't think that the ocean is a place that inherently, like, all animals would rather be, I guess is the best way to
I don't think I'd want to be in the sea.
No, it's quite terrifying. And when you really stop to like think about like how very little I want to be sleeping outside and fending for myself, it like you start to kind of like think about it in a little bit of a different perspective. But I do think there are, and this is sort of where I really encourage people to like critically think. Like, even though I work in zoos and aquariums, I would never say that the zoo is better than the wild. There are different challenges that we're facing. While there are no predators and there's unlimited food, there isn't that sort of stimulation to try to survive, and that's what we're always trying to replicate. So that's what, when you see zookeepers and trainers out there playing with the animals, or introducing new toys, or finding a lot of what I like to do is foraging devices. So finding ways to hide the animal's food, and they need to find it, and they need to look for it, because there is the very real, idea that the animals might experience boredom, which they don't really do out in the ocean. And we can kind of go back and forth about that, because what does boredom mean? It means that they're safe, it means that they're well fed, it means that there's nothing scary happening in their life. But it is still something that we're always trying to address and always trying to get better at, or I think that we should be as a zoological community. So there's lots of different things that we can do for that, and the training and the enrichment, constantly changing up their habitats. We have a lot of dynamic habitats where you can first of all have multiple species. That's a great way to do it. Even moving animals in and out of different areas. They have areas that are constantly changing. That keeps things really interesting for them. And like I said, different social structures and stuff like that. Environmental enrichment and stuff like that is something that I'm really passionate about. I have a reputation of being like kind of like the enrichment lady at work, because I just like, this is so important that we do this all the time. Because we have an obligation to the animals, and I do believe that they live happy, healthy, and fulfilled lives, but they are very different than those of the lives out in the ocean. So it is still important to recognize that and always try to be improving. Like we're never there. We're always got to keep moving up.
Okay, I'm going to digress a little bit here, but did I just see a
we going
ferret?
Back to dog buttons, or
No, did I just see a ferret wandering around your room then?
Did you see that?
It was over by the blue, looks like a blue light.
That you just witnessed that she's got rats.
I've got a rodent problem. We've been trying to work on it. I do have ferrets. This is
right.
Wow.
Yeah, he's just having a little snack.
How many do you have?
I have 4. I have a little problem. Yeah, I have. We've been rescuing these guys. This little girl was rescued from a laboratory. So, yeah, they live in the drawers. They live in their.
Which leads me to the question: would it be possible to own a marine mammal as a pet?
No. Well, I should say I think there are some places where people have like river otters. I can't really think of a worse idea.
Because I've seen a
like
family that's got a
of
hippopotamus as a pet.
A hippopotamus?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Well, hippopotamuses are disgusting too. Well, not to mention extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine what the bath would be like after they finished pooping.
Yeah, well, because have you seen what hippos do?
Yeah.
They like spray that. Like their little tail just runs like this, and it just
Yeah,
goes
we were on
everywhere,
about that last week.
Yeah, horrifying. No, there's and that's another thing that I feel like we combat by like working so closely with the animals, and we have a really strong relationship with them. That, but we also ride this fine line of like trying not to give the idea that these would be like great pets for people. No, I mean, a lot of people ask that about our sea otters because there is nothing cuter than a sea otter. Sea otters are vicious troublemakers, and they eat about a quarter of their body weight in restaurant quality seafood every day. It costs like $30,000 to $35,000 a year just to feed one of them.
Wow.
So there's just like nothing about this animal that you would want to have as a pet, and it astounds me. I think most people are joking, but some people are legitimately asking if they can have these animals as a pet, and I'm like, you don't know how to take care of a sea otter. Why would you want one? Like you have zero idea what goes into the husbandry and healthcare of like these animals. So like what makes you think? Or like penguins is a big one. People are like, can I have a penguin? Birds are disgusting, you guys. Birds are foul.
We've been to penguins before. They smell as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And they're just like, why? I don't understand. Would you want? Yeah, they bite. They're mean. Like I don't like these things. They don't make sense to me. So I enjoy working with them, but I would never want to take one home. That's for sure.
Yeah, when I was a young boy, we used to have a TV presenter who used to come on whichever show it was, and he would have a sea lion. He'd have a pet sea lion, and then they went to his house, and it lived in the bath.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's awful. So
he's still alive, the guy as well. Terry Nutkins, his name is.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's one of those things where and this is again why we should be constantly improving. There was a lot of things we did like back in like the 80s that we can just like we should just not revisit, and keeping sea lions in your bathtub is probably one of them. But that would be horrible. I don't even the amount of poop. I just go back to the amount of poop is like really kind of something
I can imagine.
That guy, you never get that smell out. How did he resell that house? That's what I would like to know.
I've no idea. Unless he's still living there, I don't know.
Yeah, he must be, because I don't think anybody would buy that. You can't get that smell out. There's no amount of Dawn dish detergent or anything that will remove that, I don't think.
So outside of being a marine mammologist, what do you like to do in your spare time? If you have any spare time.
I do. I have a little bit of spare time, but a lot of it is dedicated to the content that I create online, which I guess isn't really like necessarily like spare time, but it is a bit of a hobby. I mean, when COVID hit, we didn't have guests at the aquarium. I was in Vancouver at the time. We didn't have guests for over a year, and in that time, I just realized I'd always loved talking to people. It's one of my favorite things. A lot of zookeepers and a lot of marine mammal trainers and stuff like that, they're in it because they would rather hang out with the animals, and I do love the animals as well, but I also really enjoy engaging with people, and I think there's something that happens when somebody sees an animal in person that you just don't get when you are watching it on TV. And so I was always big about talking to people, and when we didn't have people anymore, it really affected me. And so that's sort of when I started all these social media channels as a way for me to reach people when when nobody was able to reach anyone. And so that's that. Even though we've got guests and things like that now, that hasn't really changed for me. I really enjoy that I'm able to reach an enormous amount of people, far more than I ever was just by engaging one-on-one with people at the zoo when they come in. So I love doing stuff like that, and we also do a lot of fundraisers. So we'd like to pick marine related charities and do fundraisers for them on live streams usually. So like just most recently we raised it was like $20,000 for or 20, trying to look up the exact number here, but $22,000 for the Alaka Alliance, who are this group of people centered around the indigenous people's relationship with sea otters and trying to reintroduce sea otters off the coast of Oregon, because Oregon coast used to be part of their natural range, and sea otters are actually what's known as a keystone species, and so they are actually like integral to how kelp forests grow and things like that. And when you don't have sea otters around, you basically have eliminated an entire ecosystem. And then also we did a fundraiser. We raised like $11,000 for ocean conservation in Namibia, which I don't know if you've seen. They're very big on YouTube. They have a huge following on YouTube, but it's this group of like 4 dudes in Namibia who are just like they're just running around rescuing fur seals, Cape fur seals there, who are getting entangled in it looks like they have a really big ocean debris problem off the coast of Namibia. I mean, it's a problem everywhere, but seems to be a really big problem there, and they just are rescuing seals like that. So those are just like a couple of the charities, and we're getting ready to do one for Oregon Coast Aquarium. So headed down there this week, or next week, I guess it would be, to start like filming and chatting with those guys, because they're building a big rescue center for marine mammals down there in Oregon coast. So yeah, that's something that I really enjoy doing. But I guess like if we're talking real free time, I'm a big gamer. I play video games. I love to read. So yeah, you can usually find me playing some sort of video game in my spare time. All the spare time I have. Yeah.
There you go, Steve. You'll have to connect and have a battle.
Yeah.
So, how often do you get new animals in the zoo, and where would you even buy a new animal?
Yeah, that question just is going to vary depending on the facility and what the facility is trying to do.
Right.
But you don't usually buy them. Right. So the interesting thing is that as zoos and aquariums or accredited facilities, so Point Defiance is accredited through the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, which is sort of like the ultimate accreditation. I think that something like only 5% of zoos and aquariums in North America are accredited through this, and every place has this. There's the I think it's the European Association of Zoos and Aquariums as well. So like there's different from around the world, but basically we all sort of have this agreement called the Species Survival Plan, and there's a different one for every single species, but where we are sharing all the animals essentially. So because if it was just one zoo and you only had say 2 walruses, that's a very small population size, and it's not likely to be a very successful, genetically diverse population, obviously. Right. But if we all share, then it becomes, we can think of it as one giant population. So what will happen is facilities will just trade essentially back and forth, and it doesn't have to be like a 1-for-1. Like sometimes like a facility will be like, listen, we're done housing this species. Is there anybody who has room and would like to take them, or we're really thinking about opening up a new exhibit for whatever, for sea otters. Is there anybody that has extra sea otters, or stuff like that? So there's these conversations are happening on a level that is far above my own. I'm never like a part of these types of discussions and ultimate planning. But yeah, essentially, animals are not usually bought.
Right.
Which I think is kind of important, because even though like, I guess intrinsically there's not really a problem with it, it feels a little shady. Like
you can't put a price on them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just paid, this for a polar bear or something like that. Feels kind of shady. So, it's more like a sharing in the interest of keeping the species population healthy.
Right. So your zoo, is it just marine animals, or is it that's
No,
just a
there's
section?
there's a lot of different areas to it. There's an Asia section where there's tigers and tapir, and they have gibbons, and they have Simang, which is another type of primate, and all kinds of really cool creatures up there. There's a red wolf area. There's lots of different creatures, but I just I sort of fell into this marine animal thing, and then you get so ensconced in it that like it's not impossible to move to a different area, but I would just be like, I would be at ground zero if I was like going to work with tigers. I have no idea about what's going on with cats, so so yeah, you get kind of specialized.
Yeah.
So have you always wanted to be in the marine biology?
No, I mean, I grew up in Colorado, and never really had like dreams of the ocean or anything like that. I mean, I always thought, whales were cool or whatever, but I really wanted to work with tigers and big cats. That was kind of like
Nice.
something that I really wanted to do. And but the field is such that it kind of takes on a life of its own. And I applied for like any and all internships in the field, coming out of university, and I just happened to get this one moving to Canada to work with beluga whales and sea otters, and I was like, well, that's cool. I can't not do that. And then fell in love, and that's kind of the rest is history.
So have you ever been free diving yourself?
Yeah. I actually I had to work really hard at it. I feel like most people when they think of marine biologists, like, oh, they must be super comfortable in the ocean. I am in the water. I am in a constant like battle for control over being just utterly terrified. I'm not intrinsically a great swimmer. I was never a good swimmer, and so I had to practice at it really, really hard. And I now think of myself as a pretty accomplished freediver. We used to have to do it all the time at Vancouver in order to retrieve objects. It's one of the problems with zoos and aquariums is there's always things falling into your pools. So I'm always retrieving like people's sunglasses and cell phones and things like that. And I got to be, tooting my own horn a little bit, very, very good at it, but it never failed. The second that I am in the water, just fighting for control, like just trying not to absolutely freak out. So I mean, I guess that's something that I really wish that I had been better at, is just being like a natural in the water person, but I am just not. I think I'm too tall. I'm too gangly. Like it's just it never really like clicked for me. I like to be able to breathe. I like to know that I can breathe. Yeah. So free diving is like I enjoy it, but I also hate it at the same time. There's like this just like convincing yourself that you can hold your breath and you're doing just fine is like I'm not super. I am very good at it, but I am not a natural, I guess, is the best way to phrase it.
Well, that leads to my next question of how long can you hold your breath for?
That's a good question. I've never had to do it for like too long. And there's like a psychological thing that happens. We always used to, when we were training new people to free dive, so our deepest pool was like close to 30 feet deep. 25 to 30 feet deep. It takes you maybe 10 seconds to get to the bottom and probably even less to get to the top. And so anyone in the world can hold their breath for 20 seconds. Yeah. But there's something that happens when you're like halfway down to the bottom and you're like, nope, it can't be done. I got to go back up. It's been 7 seconds and I'm freaking out. Yeah. I never really had to do it for an extreme amount of time, but I would say a minute is really pushing like what I could probably do. Yeah. Like comfortably like 30 to 45 seconds. Again, I am not a free diving like expert. You know, these people are like, I watched some of these free diving competitions. These people are doing like 7 minutes and stuff like that. I'm like, what is going on? But they're really, really training for that. So I really probably, I mean, out of the water, oh my gosh, I could probably hold my breath for like close to 2 minutes, I think, if I really, really wanted to.
I did 30 seconds on the podcast and nearly died.
Oh, did you? It's one of those things, though, like, that you, and that's what they tell you whenever you're trying to do this thing, is you just have to get outside of your head about it, because you can hold your breath for longer than 30 seconds. But your brain doesn't think that you can. And so it's more a mental game than really anything else. And especially so when you're under the water.
Right. I believe, is it Kate Winslet? She held her breath for 8 minutes for Avatar.
I saw that. Yes, I saw that. That was
She beat the record of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but she did train for that. Like, she trained really, really hard for that. And she also, I watched an interview about it. She also, for some reason, like, that's just like her calling. Like, you know, you find that like later on in life. Like, how old is she? Like 50 years old, and she's finally found that she's just like, she's a free diving champion of you know.
Well, apparently when she got into the water, she actually thought she'd died. She asked, like, am I dead? So
oh my gosh,
she must have got pushed at the limit.
I can imagine. She probably passed out or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. She's just floating on the water. Bloody hell, she's brilliant at this.
Yeah, you have to have like, and she had like a whole team of people, because it is dangerous. Free diving is dangerous. Because you don't want to pass out underwater. It's not recommended.
So, what goals are you aiming for at the moment in your line of work?
So it's interesting. I sort of feel like, so there's kind of there's so much we could go into here, but there's like, in the field, unfortunately, there's kind of this natural progression of, you know, I'm a new marine mammal trainer or whatever, and then I'm like, you know, a pretty seasoned one, and then I'm like I'm a senior marine mammal trainer, and then there's like moving into management after that, when in all reality, you know, we were never trained to be like managers. Like, just because I've been in the field for however long doesn't make me like good at managing people, that kind of thing. And so I've seen a lot of that through all the facilities that I've been at through my time, and sort of realized that I'm not sure that I want any of that. So you know, a lot of these managers, they don't get to work with the animals as much. That's like what I love about it. They don't get to you know, sort of leisurely spend their day trying to figure out how they're going to make a new toy for the sea otters and stuff like that. And that's the kind of stuff that I really enjoy, and that I'm really good at. So I am not, I'm really happy with where I'm at, just like sort of stagnating in like, and hanging out with the animals. I think, it's one of those things that we could really improve on, probably not just in this field, but in a lot of fields, is like almost having two different tracks of like, these are the people that are interested in management positions, and these are the people that are interested in, you know, animal centric positions, because the two don't necessarily, you know, you don't necessarily have a good manager just from being at a facility for an extended period of time. But I do have a lot of aspirations as far as my, you know, I hesitate to call it like an influencer career, because I like to think that it's not quite as, I don't know, but it's like influencing it's a very legitimate like career path, but for some reason it just still sounds funny to me. But yeah, I mean, I have really big aspirations for, like I said, like this upcoming charity, and that becoming, you know, it's already a big part of my platform and what we do, but I really want to extend that. I really would love to make some bigger, you know, documentary style movies. And so I have a lot of big aspirations when it comes to, you know, my YouTube channel and some things like that are, you know, hopefully starting to come to fruition, and just make that like a really, really big. I always idolized people like Steve Irwin and
everyone
you know,
idolizes
I don't
them.
know. Yeah, I don't know if you like Jeff Corwin, like just some of those. Like I was big on. I watched Animal Planet and Discovery Channel constantly as a kid, and I was like, I could be that. I want to be that, and you know, it turns out they don't just reach out to you when you're a kid and you're passionate about it. So had to make it happen myself. So a lot of big aspirations when it comes to that. But as far as like in the zookeeping field, like I'm really happy with where I'm at and getting to work with the animals every day. And I don't really feel like a desk job is suitable for me, which is what happens when you move into those management positions. So
yeah.
So who do you look up to as inspiration?
I definitely, like I said, like Steve Irwin, and even now, like I follow his kids.
His son's doing the same, isn't he?
Oh my gosh, Robert Irwin it's just like watching his dad like all over again, and it's so cool to see. So I really keeping an eye on those guys and what they're doing. I think it's really amazing. And I mean, I think that's probably the biggest one. Is like, you know, Steve when Steve Irwin died, I mourned. Like I was not okay.
It was bad, wasn't it? It was really sad.
It was so awful. I was in university. I wrote like a poem about it in my my English class and everything. Like it was so that's a really big one. So I'm really happy to see like his kids you know, doing things like that. But I mean, I would say that's probably the biggest one that I'm.
Have you ever heard of Coyote Peterson?
No.
Oh, you've not? I thought
Coyote Peterson?
Yeah.
No.
He's big with animals,
what does he do?
but so basically, like, anything that's got like stings, bites, or anything like that, he basically lets it bite them.
Like a super painful.
Yeah, like put wasps on him and stuff like that, and just see what the pain level's like.
No, I'm really allergic to yellow jackets, so this would not be like a good. No, that sounds awful. But I have seen videos. I've seen videos of him like red faced, like fighting back tears like that. I now know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that as well. Like, why would you want to do that? You know, get stung and then roll all over the place in pain.
Yeah.
I don't know why he wants to do that. Maybe there's some kind of like adrenaline seeking type of situation happening here. I'm not really sure, but insects and stuff like that are not for me. I hate spiders. Like I know that they serve a really important role in the world and keep things in balance, but I would rather they weren't here and we just deal with the consequences. Like that's how much I dislike spiders. So any kind of like insects and stuff like that would not be for me. The ferrets are getting into all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, does your ferrets eat the spiders? Have you ever got a spider?
Not that I've seen.
Right.
I've never seen that happen. So, but if they're doing that, then they're doing a service to this house, and I appreciate them. No, I don't. I don't even. Spiders are just not for me. And just all kinds of creepy crawlies and stuff like that. I just I don't deal well with. So.
Yeah, we're trying to teach my little girl to not be afraid of spiders and stuff like that, because myself and my partner have inbuilt fears from being young ourselves with parents.
Oh and stuff. No, I mean, and that's I think that's super cool because like I have my little cousin is terrified of bees, wasps, all those types of things, and it's just because like I watched her mom, you know, will like scream when she sees like a bee or a wasp, and so now my cousin has just like is paralyzed by fear when there's like a bee or a wasp coming nearby, which is funny because even though I'm actually deathly allergic, I'm not really afraid of them because they don't really sting you and stuff like that. So that's really like, it's really admirable that you're doing that about spiders, but I think spiders should not exist. You're doing a great thing. But
It's kind of hard when you have to get called into the bedroom. Daddy, can you get a spider out of my room? And you kind of like.
Yeah, because you also like that you can't really kill them because then you're just sending like almost the same message. So are you relocating spiders from your house? You are on a next level. Like you are.
But I've got an older daughter who is absolutely terrified of them, and whenever I'm not a word of a lie, the smallest of spiders, like a little money spider, and she will freak out. And it's starting to pass on to my little girl now.
Yeah.
So we keep having to say to her, look, I know how scared you are, but you've got to contain it.
Yeah.
Right.
She didn't pass on.
Yeah, I applaud you because I think it's something like spiders would do well to just not move like that. Like moving like that, just stop being like so jerky and weird and like fast. I feel like we would all get along a lot better with spiders if they weren't like that.
Yeah.
Although what's I don't know if you guys are on TikTok all that much, but you can probably just look it up. There are these creators that have jumping spiders as pets.
They're cute.
They're cute.
Yes, I've seen them.
They are actually cute. And I will say that I would recommend checking out some of those creators. I'm sure they create on YouTube as well. But that actually has, and a lot of those creators say that they had like a paralyzing fear of spiders, and they did it. They started into that, owning those jumping spiders just to get over their own fear. Right. And they're cute. Like they're cute videos.
So
oh, sorry.
We've gotten a far way away from. We've traveled all around, like dog buttons. We were in Walrus for a while, and now we're on spiders.
Yeah, I was actually going to go back to mammals. I was going to say, how dogs are considered men's best friend. Can a mammal become a friend to human? So like, would a walrus know a human to be a friend, or is it just more you feed me, so Yeah,
I mean, I think that that's a really interesting question. I mean, I would also argue that at its basis level, even dogs are usually that's a food-based relationship we have with them. And of course it does transcend into other areas, and they do appreciate us, and we appreciate them on more than just a food level, but the food is a big part of it. Yeah. But yeah, I think that I try not to use words like friend, because I feel like it's, I don't know, it's a little anthropomorphic, and those are like things that even though we do constantly, we try to avoid doing, like knowingly anthropomorphizing the animals, but definitely building up relationships with these animals. That's a huge part of what we do, and it does start with the food, but it ends up being far more than that. And they do recognize individual people. When new people come in, they don't trust them as much as they trust their people that they've worked with for years and years and years. And it takes a while to build up that relationship. And it's really important that we have those types of like trusting relationships. It's sort of a mutual trust, because when you're working with a walrus, he trusts me to not, do anything crazy or out of character. And I trust him to not trample me to death. So we're operating under like that mutual trust, but it's really important because we do things like voluntary x-rays, blood samples, ultrasounds. All those things are important for taking care of the animal, but if they don't let you do it, then there's no way to get it done. So yeah, you can absolutely build up really strong relationships with the animals that you work with, and we're always. It's never just like your friendships and stuff like that. It's never over. There's never a time when you can just be like, okay, the relationship's built. I don't need to do anything for it anymore. Yeah. You're always taking out of the bank and making deposits and stuff like that. But it's part of what I love about it is having these relationships with these animals that people often ask, like, if I stepped in there, what would happen? And I'm like, ooh, I don't know. They don't always take kindly to strangers.
So do you have stressful days? Because I have stressful days every day at work. So do you come home and think, yeah, I've had a great day today, and on a daily basis, or do you ever come home and
no,
cry?
I mean, that's a great question, because people do see, like I do love my job, and I think that's pretty readily apparent to anybody who sees me doing it. But some days it's a job, you know, and some days I come home and I'm just like, I do not want to see a sea otter for the next, you know, foreseeable future. There's days that are stressful, and you know, what really helps, and what I have now, that is different from what I've had in the past. And like, you know, there's a lot of, I think in every field there's a lot of job toxicity and some things, and what I have now is just like an absolutely incredible team that's super supportive, and I feel like that really helps when you've got the people around you that are supportive. Our curator is incredible and supportive, and so I feel that a lot less now than I have in the past. But yeah, I mean, there's times where, especially like I'm living on like the West Coast, like Seattle-ish area, and I don't know if you guys have ever been, but it rains a lot.
Right.
And so there are some days, and I love the rain, but there are some days when I come home just absolutely soaked from head to toe. 'Cause there's nobody ever tells you that like waterproof jackets don't exist. Like, you know, truly working in the rain, you are going to just be soaking wet. And so there are days when I come home and I'm like, I should shower, but I just don't want to be wet anymore. Like I just like, I can't do it. And so yeah, there's absolutely days where I'm just like, man, what an absolute garbage day that I just had. It does happen, but yeah, I think it happens less for me in this field than it would if I was at a desk job. I don't know if I'm truly cut out for that kind of work.
So what's the most rewarding part about working with animals?
What's the, sorry, what?
Most rewarding part?
Oh, yeah. I love training new behaviors. We use operant conditioning, positive reinforcement to mold and shape behavior. And some of these behaviors would just blow your mind. And one of my favorite things is just watching, like, I feel like, and this again might be anthropomorphizing, which I just said we shouldn't do, but I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. Is that like, you can see, like, you're looking into the animal's eyes and you can see that moment when they go, oh, I know what you want. And then they do it, and you're able to like give them a big reward, and you guys celebrate that together. Like I have there's a YouTube video up. It's a pretty short one, but you can find it on my long forms. But it's of me teaching one of our walruses to whistle, and it just happened like a few months ago. And he just has that moment. He's like trying. He's like doing things with his lips, and then he whistles, and we celebrate together, and he gets a bunch of food, and now he won't stop whistling. But yeah, that's one of my favorite things is seeing that moment when it sort of clicks, and you can just see it. You can see it in their eyes. Yeah. I also really like we talked about enrichment. I really like discovering things and giving the animals things that are engaging and take up their time and are really like problem solving. And my favorite thing is when an enrichment item takes an animal more than 5 minutes to figure out. I love doing that kind of stuff too. But
yeah,
cool. Should we do a fact or reset?
Yeah. You ready to play the game?
All right.
Fact or reset?
Yeah.
So we've got the maid leaderboard.
Okay.
And then
I'm incredibly competitive, so
right.
Oh, wait,
I've got your name ready to go on.
Yep, that's it. I don't know if that's gonna be an attribute or a detriment, but we'll see.
Stand clear.
It's fact or reset.
Yeah, so the aim of the game is I give you a fact and you just tell me fact if it's a fact. If you think I've made it up, you just say reset. And you keep playing until you're on the board. So if you get the first one wrong, you still play until you're on the board till you get one.
Okay. So I at least get to have my name on the board.
Yeah, you just definitely be on the board.
A little consolation prize. Okay. Are these all marine mammal facts? Or are you gonna be giving me?
These are random.
No.
That'd be too easy.
Yeah. Okay.
The first one. An adult hedgehog has exactly 3,000 spikes on their back.
Has exactly 3,000 spikes on their back. Reset.
Yep, well done. Second one. Humans are the only animals to blush.
Oh. Humans are the only animals to blush. Reset.
Oh, no. That's the end of the game. It's a fact. Yeah. Animals. Humans are the only animals that blush.
Oh, I would have thought that like octopus and like squid. And
Yeah. All right, thanks for playing Factor Reset anyway.
Well, I didn't do super well, did I? Bummer.
You got one.
Oh well.
Have you got any more questions, Stu?
Just the last. Well, I've got one last one here. Ecotypes and subspecies.
Oof.
What's the difference? Or is there?
That's another one of those hot topics in the in the scientific community about that, and I just briefly, I think, kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but the killer whale ecotypes are becoming so different, and if you actually look it up, even when you just look at pictures of them, you're like, how is this the same animal? I mean, they're very clearly killer whales, but you can also see that they're very, very different, and having different dialects, and the fact that they don't actually interbreed with each other is starting to make the scientific community, sort of address them as different species. So yeah, I mean, I think the difference right now is sort of just semantics. It's just people, being a little hesitant to rename things as different species. But I think that I've been saying it for a while, so maybe it won't happen. But I think that within like the next few years that they're going to start classifying at least these different killer whales as different subspecies at the very least, right. Because of that. So I think ecotypes is supposed to be like sort of a lesser grade of that, but some things are coming out that maybe we didn't really understand exactly the level of division, especially in like killer whales is the biggest example that I can think of when it comes to ecotype type of situation. I'm sure there are other ones that are maybe a little bit different, but as far as that one goes, I don't really think there's much of a difference at all.
Right.
So is there a greater concentration of mammal or marine life in certain parts of the oceans or part land? Is there like a more of a concentration in one area than another?
Yeah, there definitely seems to be like areas where there tend to just be not really a lot of animals, and like depending on different times of the year as well, that can change. But the Arctic, even though it's cold and we think of that as not being a very habitable place, that's actually like one of the most concentrated, for just having like per capita, crabs per square, foot of water or whatever. But so those colder waters are actually usually more diverse than some of the tropical areas. And I think we're all used to seeing, coral reefs and stuff like that with a lot of animals, but it's really like the colder water where you tend to have much more life. So yeah, there's definitely different fluctuations and it's the part of the thing is that it's all sort of shifting too with, like, we talked about global warming. I mean, I know I keep coming back to walruses, but like, for instance, walrus is obviously an Arctic species, but I'm sure you guys have seen of late, they've been showing up in Norway, in Scotland, in France. You know, those animals are tooling around over there, and they're like, what are you doing? You're in the wrong area. But maybe that's just where, you know, where the food is taking them now. So it's sort of impossible to predict what could happen when it comes to, you know, the ocean and changing temperatures and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay.
That's everything
I've got.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to have me on the next time you have a marine mammal themed factor reset, and I'll
see you. Well,
yeah, we certainly will.
Yeah.
We made one for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been lovely having you, and once again, thanks for coming on last minute.
Yeah, no problem. It was super fun.
Yeah, thank you.
You really saved this episode.
No problem. All right, it was great to meet you guys.
I just have to give us a shout out on one of your YouTube videos.
Yeah, will do.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Kristyn.
Yeah. Have a great night. Bye.
I am the Eggman. They are the Eggman. I am the Walrus. Mr. City Policeman sitting pretty little policeman in a row.
Well,
What did you think of that?
that was good, wasn't it?
It was.
Proper informative.
Yeah.
We just recorded the video of the chat. I don't know how it went down. If it worked or not, I don't know. We'll play it back after we finish the podcast. It probably not worked. It's a tester. But yeah, what have you got for me then, Stu?
Didn't get to ask about the clams with the pearls.
Well, no, it's wrong person to ask though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I've got a few things, not much for you, but we have got the ChatGPT news. I also remembered I forgot to play a jingle for the game.
Well, I thought of a jingle. Well, yeah, we've got to play the jingle for the game, so maybe you can edit it in.
Yeah, I'll put it in.
But I thought of a jingle
Oh,
for an introduction to her.
I'll go
Yeah, the Beatles. I am the Walrus.
on. Yeah, why not? I don't know if we're allowed to though. I don't know. I have played songs in the past on the podcast, but I'm reading things here that you wouldn't know. So I've got Hannah stuff. That was for Hannah, and I thought I was reading the stuff for you. I was going to ask you then: are sea cucumbers really worth £2,000? So are they, Stu?
Well, based on the cucumbers that we buy from Asda. Yeah.
Well, you have to weigh them first. Put them on the scale.
No, we get the cellophane wrapped ones.
Oh dear.
I don't know if you can get sea cucumbers that are cellophane wrapped in the ocean.
No, probably not. So I've got here celebrity fashion must be annoying because every time you come up with like this new fashion style,
Yeah.
a shop will then copy that style, won't they? And then sell it to everyone. Then that style you're wearing is then like the common style, isn't it?
Well, that's why they have all these fashion shows like the Milan, the Paris, the London Fashion Weeks. Is the designers display the latest designs?
Yeah,
and some of them are hideous.
and then the silly ones though.
Yeah, you get some really silly ones.
They're walking out with like a wheelie bin on their head.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
I mean, and then you kind of see that and you think, well, how's a shop going to reinterpret that as high street fashion?
Yeah, well they don't. They're like just silly ones. No one wears them.
I mean, why would you design something for a wheelie bin on your head?
I know, yeah. But it is silly things like that.
So how can that be fashion?
It's not.
How's that fashion?
I think that's more like an art show, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's more.
Wow. So then call it, instead of call it the Milan Fashion Week, the Milan Art Week.
Yeah, definitely.
Or something daft like that.
Yeah, Stu Art.
Stu Art, yeah.
But yeah, that'd be annoying, that. Because I started buying these tops one way now with animals on, but then everyone started buying them. And now I'm like, I don't like them now. But everyone wears them.
Well, pass them on to me. I like
So
them. I'm not proud.
Imagine if I was a celebrity and they did that. It well do me head in.
Yeah.
So yeah. What about fairgrounds, Stu? Are you afraid of fairgrounds?
I'm not afraid of fairgrounds. I just can't go on rides that go round and round.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
It's weird as you get older. It
man,
knocks you sick.
Yeah, I've been like that all my life because I'm travel sick. I think it's something to do with that.
Right.
But any spinny thing I get on, I come on.
Not have sound when I was younger. You used to go to the waltzers and the guy would come and
sod the
spin you
waltzer.
and you'd be just going round and round and round and round.
Yeah.
But now, I couldn't get on one.
He comes over, I'm like, no,
You know,
don't
stay away.
Just go away.
Just lock it off and leave it in one position.
Yeah, spin it the other way, unwind me. I feel sick.
But I like going on the big rides, the big roller coasters.
Oh yeah, they're good. It's like I can't even go on teacups. But I can go on the big one. Have you seen that lately?
I've not been
the
on the big one. It's too high for me.
It's been getting stuck
I believe so, yeah.
like twice in the last month.
I believe so.
And you see all these people walking down the track.
I couldn't do it. It's too high for me.
Oh, it's
I've
high.
got a slight fear of heights.
That's not a slight fear of heights. That's well high up, isn't
Well,
it? I think
no,
a
because
lot
I
of
can
people-
go in an airplane and be okay and look out the window.
You will.
Yeah.
That's really high.
I know. But I can't go on a roller coaster that's like that. I don't know. I can't explain it.
What if you went on a roller coaster in an airplane?
What if we're on the big one
It's like
in
a
an
little
airplane?
shell of an airplane.
But have you seen that one that's in? I think it's in Seattle or Nevada or something like that, and it's literally on the top of a hotel, a spherical hotel that they have.
Yeah.
And it's on top of that. It goes round it and then stops, like hanging out.
Oh.
And just
And then
stops
what?
dead, and then retracts back, and you just stop, and you're about like, well, for someone like me, it'd be like 1,000,000 feet high.
Yeah.
But it's however tall the hotel is,
Right.
and there's no way. And it's got like they used to call it the PlayStation.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got one of them right on the top of the hotel and it shoots you up.
Right. All the mental rides seem to be like in America and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, they've
Like,
got all the
in
best.
the UK, we've got little loop-de-loops, and we think that's good. And you
Alton
look on
Towers.
YouTube, you're like, what is that?
The Towin Fair in North Wales.
Yeah. That's got 6 loops on that one.
I know. What's the best ride you've been on?
Best ride. Oof. I've probably not been on much, to be honest. So big one is up there, but that's quite rough as well. It hurts. I like the Traumatizer.
Not been on that.
Have you know?
No.
That used to be in Southport, and then it moved to Manchester.
Right.
But when it was in Southport, it didn't have batter your head. Left to right. It's better now it's in Manchester. But yeah, I'll go for the big one. Because I've not been to Alton Towers, which I believe is where the good rides are.
Yeah, I went on Nemesis. I think that's probably the best one.
Is
I've
that
been on.
Alton Towers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the time I went on. That was when I got over my fear of going upside down.
Was it?
Yeah. I had a fear of going upside down.
Fear of upside down and heights.
And heights.
So you went on
What
a
I mean,
ride
fear of upside down rides when you go upside down. I don't know why. Always.
in case you fall out.
I don't know what it was. But I went when she's now my partner.
Yeah.
We went on a date.
He was like, I'm not going on that.
We took a day off work because we worked at the same place. We took a day off work and decided to go Alton Towers for the day. The kids were at school, and she persuaded me to go on it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to face my fear, try and find out why. And I did it and loved it.
Yeah.
Couldn't get me off him.
Let's go again.
I was walking around on my hands all the rest of the day, upside down.
Yeah, but I wonder why in films fairgrounds are always the place for like, death and
Death.
stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? It's like serial kill. There's definitely something dodgy happening here.
Yeah. There's always a fairground, isn't there?
And they always go in them weird clown house with mirrors everywhere. And you-
Yeah. Or the ghost train or something like that.
yeah. It's little scares.
Yeah. And then they come rolling out and his friend's head's been chopped off.
Yeah. Oh, well, we didn't even get to have a second brew.
Oh, well, I'm just finishing my first one.
My mouth's proper dry.
Iced coffee.
Yeah. Human body parts I've wrote down here.
Human body parts.
Yes. So, in school, when we was learning about body parts, you know, the real name of things and stuff.
Yeah.
For some reason, when we found out that your skull was called cranium,
Cranium.
we thought it was funny to be going around calling the teacher Richard Cranium. Because Richard was short for dick, wasn't it? Or long for dick. He was like, oh, dickhead, Richard Cranium. It was like an insult that you got away with.
Very clever.
Yeah, it was clever, kids. Also, I've put my identity will be hard to copy. Because, you know where you got like that facial recognition and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
My phone never recognises my face. I think my face changes on a daily basis. She's like, unrecognised. It's my face. I've not changed. Do you know what I mean? Overnight. So I think, you know what? I'll go to my thumbprint, unrecognisable. Am I a chameleon?
You shapeshifter.
You know what I mean? So good luck to anyone trying to impersonate me. I can't even impersonate me. Right. Oh! Before we go, Chat GPT news.
Oh, yes.
Yep. So let's see if we can find it. I've not put it as a favourite. Oh, I found him. Here we go. A man in Israel has been arrested for stealing over £700 of tomatoes from a greenhouse. The man reportedly used a ladder to climb over the fence and steal the tomatoes in the middle of the night. A dog in Florida has been credited with saving the owner's life by alerting her to the fire in their home. The dog reportedly woke up his owner by barking and licking his face and smelled the smoke. A group of scientists in Japan have developed a device that can translate a cat's meow into human speech. The device uses artificial intelligence to analyse the cat's vocalisations and match them to the database of a human words and phrases.
Sorry, just interrupt your news. But that goes back to what we were asking Kristyn about understanding whales.
It does indeed.
So why can't it do that?
Yeah, like I said, it's ChatGPT news. We don't know if it's true.
And back to you, Steve.
Yeah. A man in Texas has been banned from a local restaurant for leaving negative reviews on Yelp. The restaurant owner reportedly confronted the man and told him he was no longer welcome after reading the review. A woman in California was reunited with her lost dog after spotting him in a TV news report about wildlife. The woman recognised her dog's distinctive markings and was able to locate him at the local animal shelter. And that's all for the ChatGPT news, and over to you.
Thanks, Steve.
The weather is raining again. Yeah, I think we're going to end on ChatGPT news today.
Yes.
We've got plenty for the podcast. Yeah, we love the emails.
Keep them coming.
Keep them coming at contact@getfact.co. And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, go to www.getfact.co. And that'll help us out a lot. If we keep progressing, hopefully we'll get some merchandise.
Maybe.
In the near future.
Get some merch.
Get some merch. Yeah.
And if, you can have a go at Don't Be Stupid and maybe win some merch.
Oh, yeah. So we want you to email in for that. Tell us your superpower. We'll give you a superhero name. Also, let us know you're listening. Tell us what you think about the podcast. And
Favourite music. Favourite food.
Yeah.
Anything.
Anything, yeah. Or facts. We can talk
facts,
about,
yeah. Give us some facts.
Yep. That's all from us at the Get Fact. Thanks for listening.
And we'll speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.